What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Today, we're talking about the NBA Round 1 update, and this should be a good one because I have a couple surprising both teams and players, and then we're going to talk about a couple of the series, right? So, my biggest surprises so far. Off break, my Lakers are up 3-1. I did not see that coming. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming, personally. Kevin Durant's injury is a thing, but still. He was able to play one game. I didn't see us winning 3 games and being up 3-0 at one point in time. I genuinely did not. All right, next up, the Wolves being up 3-1. I didn't see that coming, especially when Jaden McDaniels says, and I quote, "They're not good defenders." I did not see that coming. I also did not expect Deni Avdija to be who he is in the playoffs. Against the Spurs, I did not expect to see that at all. Then the Raptors tied with the Cavs 2-2. I'm not going to say I'm overly surprised. I just had more expectations for the Cavs. Call me crazy. Then we got here Paolo Banchero and Wendell Carter Jr. on the Magic, actually outperforming Cade Cunningham and Jalen Durant. To be clear, we're talking about 2 All-Stars on the Pistons. And I know for a fact Wendell Carter Jr. was not an all-star. So that's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Like right now, Cade and Jalen, they have a case to be on Team USA come 2028. Paolo, maybe. Wendell Carter Jr. does not. I don't think so. So again, I'm kind of surprised at seeing that, Paolo and Wendell are outperforming Cade and Jalen. Normally, if I said that, it would have been because of Duke bias. But this go around, it's not because of that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, my player question marks, right? Kevin Durant, is this injury actually saving his legacy? Because, again, when he played, his team lost. Then his team was down 3-0. He only played 1 game, to be fair. But if this Rockets team loses, will people put more blame on Kevin Durant or will they put more blame on the Rockets? Because when I look at Sengun, I'm thinking he needs to be more dominant, right? And he's also a player that I have a question mark around. Why is Sengun not able to dominate more when he's going up against DeAndre Ayton and, who else, really? Jackson Hayes? I'm sorry, that's not that stellar of a defense. We're talking about a big man. Also, Jamal Murray. He has not been as efficient, and Nikola Jokic has not looked like himself. He has not looked like himself since that injury that he sustained during the regular season. I don't know what happened. But I'm telling you right now, his decision-making has changed a little bit. It's regressed because I've seen him get more turnovers after that injury than I've ever seen him hit. And, is he scoring at the same level? Not as much, too. The game don't look as easy for him now. And, again, this playoff, so it's supposed to be harder. But still, he does not look like himself. And then, finally, how healthy is Joel Embiid? Ladies and gentlemen, I have question marks around that because him coming back now, I didn't think he was going to be injury-free until later on. I didn't think he was going to be healthy until a little bit later on. I'm not a doctor, but that was my observation. That was my expectations based on what I've researched. I didn't think he was going to be completely healthy by now. So how healthy is he? If he's not that healthy, well, that might negatively impact the 76ers. So let's see what happens. Because, we can talk about the clutch factor all the time, or he shrinks in the playoffs. Still, he just needs to be healthy because they have the pieces to make it work. Going up against the Celtics is tough, but we'll talk about it a little bit more. So y'all heard my biggest surprises in terms of teams. Y'all heard my surprises in terms of players, right? Question marks, if you will. So now let's go over some of the the team rounds and see what we're talking about here. So the Spurs versus the Blazers, right? Again, I mentioned Denny's play has surprised me. I was not expecting him to arrive. We can say right now, ladies and gentlemen, Deni Avdija might be a top 25 player. I think that's fair to say right now with no real ranking, top 25. Yes, that's for certain. Then the Spurs Game 3 comeback. Was that uplifting for Spurs fans? It should be. You're down 19, or Game 4, I'm sorry. You're down 19. Wemby gets injured. And he comes back that game. Well, he got injured the game before, but he comes back that game. He's able to get a bucket. At the beginning of the game, he was not getting a bucket. It looked like he could be the reason why they down, but he was able to turn it around. Him and De'Aaron Fox, we got to start talking about De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama as a dynamic duo. Yes, Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper both scored or combined had 60 points the game 3. But even still, that don't matter because game 4, it showed that Fox and Wembanyama might be the best players on their team still point in time. So a dynamic duo like that, we could be talking. We may need to start talking about them as their dynamic duo and how far can they go. But Spurs versus Portland, I still lean Spurs. Lakers versus Rockets. Like I told y'all, ladies and gentlemen, KD's legacy is in question right now. It was in jeopardy. Even with the injury, you cannot lose the way you have. You have to come back, KD. You have to come back, bro. One, you had 9 turnovers in one daggone game. That is disrespectful. You cannot have that happen because that was the real reason why your team lost. Like, your team played all right, actually. Like, it was a winnable game. Actually, the last 3 games in the series were winnable for Portland. It's baffling that they're down 3-1. It really, truly is with no Luka. With no Austin Reeves, maybe that actually should help the Rockets out, having Luka and Austin, because they're not the best defenders. Let's see what happens. I think Austin could come back. But if you don't win, Rockets, should they blow it up? Like, should they look to trade for Giannis? Because now Sengun might not be as dominant as he could be. Okay, cool. So what about Kevin Durant and Giannis with somebody else? Like, that would be an interesting trade package right there. Plus, you get Fred VanVleet back. Fred VanVleet's stock has not been higher since 2019 when he was in the playoffs and won the championship. Promise you. Because the Rockets do not look as great or as stellar as they could be. And I think the point guard play matters, even though I do like Amen Thompson. And I think this is going to be good for him going forward. I think right now, point in time, Fred VanVleet, he matters, and it's showing. But they have players who can get a bucket on their team. Could the Rockets end up coming back? Like, the chances of a Game 7, there's still a world where the Rockets do come back. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's a slim chance. They need the Slim Reaper to dominate. If that's not happening, if the team can't dominate a little bit more, be more aggressive, they're going to lose. Possibly next game, which is, again, crazy to say. In 5, disgusting. Nuggets versus Wolves. Listen, we got to start asking, is Anthony Edwards actually better than Nikola Jokic? Because every time they go up against one another, Ant-Man is getting the best of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. Like, let's not forget, he's knocked them out of the playoffs before, okay? So, and again, this is like they just lost a game after multiple games after they were called out. We know Jamal Murray can get a bucket. We know Nikola Jokic can get a bucket, and they both can play make. We understand that their team can score pretty well. But Jaden Daniels said they cannot defend. They don't have good defenders. And that's tough. Now, hear me out now. Dante DiVincenzo and Anthony Edwards are both out more than likely for the remainder of this season, or this series at least, right? Dante for sure, and I hate the fact that he tore his Achilles. Dang, that sucks. Ant-Man with the hyperextended knee, that's going to be tough. Because now can the Nuggets come back? What's the chances of them actually getting to a Game 7? Again, I just told you, they won. The Wolves just lost 2 of their starters, their best player in one of those players, and 2 of their better perimeter defenders. The Nuggets can still get a bucket and defend decently enough to come back and win this series. I would love for the Wolves to advance, but I ain't gonna lie, that Dante injury really does hurt. And shout out Ayo Dosunmu for getting 43 points. You got a couple of buckets out there. But how often is that going to happen? How often? Is Ayo going to have a few more Ayo moments in the playoffs? I don't know. Let's find out. But we're going to have to. But in the meantime, I would like to see the Nuggets come back. Because going forward, unless you can tell me Ant-Man is healthy, I got question marks around it because he's supposed to be out for a couple of weeks with that bone bruise. But we'll see what happens. Thunder versus Sun. Let's just keep this simple. There's nothing really to question currently. The only thing we got to talk about is we got to note Devin Booker's struggles, right? Like Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, they seem to be playing pretty well. But keep in mind, if D-Book isn't going off, the Sun have no chance of winning against the Thunder. So that's what the Thunder are focusing on. And that could be part of the reason why D-Book is struggling. But can we also think about this? Is he not engaged? Is that a thing? Or is Devin Booker just not good enough to be a first option on the championship team? He has gotten to the finals, but that's the only thing to really note in this series. Jalen Green's actually not had a bad series. Dylan Brooks has been all right. D-Book just has to be able to go off. But with the team that they currently have, it's going to be a little tough. There's a lot on his shoulders. And he's not this top 5 player that's going to get y'all over the hump, personally. That's just me, though. But again, there's nothing to really look at from the Thunder perspective. Celtics versus 76ers. Listen, end of the day, Joel Embiid has come back. He got to the free throw line. He played an okay game. Does he have a positive or negative impact? That's what we're going to find out. And what's the chances of this series going the distance? 7, because they're down 3-1 right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think there's still a world, but, Celtics should advance given what's going on right now, honestly. The Jays out there hooping. Shout out to P-Rap for doing what he did off the bench, right? 30 points. Celtics just look like the better team in terms of execution. Talent-wise, it's a jump ball who has more talent. 76ers could have more talent, actually. But in terms of cohesion, execution, management, coaching, Celtics win that one. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I love to see that Joel Embiid's back on the floor. But I would like to see Joel Embiid doing a little bit less in order for his team to do a little bit more. So if that don't happen, then they're not going to win, and they have no chance of getting to a Game 7. Now, the Pistons versus Magic. Can Cade Cunningham carry the team on his back? He shouldn't have to because his team was number 1. Yes, he did a lot of carrying during the regular season, but someone's got to step up. Jalen Duren. Who's their second banana? Supposed to be Jalen Duren. Is it, though? Tobias Harris has looked more consistent than anybody else on the team, just saying. And then we also got to think and wonder, are the Pistons not physical enough? They've only won one game in which they had more free throw attempts. They won the free throw battle only once out of 3 games. Like, the Magic are looking a little bit scrappier. That's all I'm saying. So, again, the Pistons, y'all are kind of losing your identity from what we saw in the regular season, ladies and gentlemen. That's a little bit scary to note. That really, truly is. And we got to see that turn around quickly if the Pistons want to remain in the playoffs in advance. And then finally, the Cavs versus the Raptors. Listen, I'm just going to say this because I'm tired of hearing this man's name in a positive light to a degree. But if Donovan Mitchell loses yet again, and this is in the first round, he has got to stop being viewed as a star, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think he is. I told people he's a shaky star. One of my friends actually said he finally agrees with me, right? Somebody who I've been trying to hype up for a while now, Scotty Barnes, I think he's starting to make a case for it, NBA top 10 player. Whether he is or not, that's another discussion for another day, but he has a argument to be made, especially when you're looking at the playoffs. He's currently averaging 26 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 1.3 steals, 1 block. That's disgusting numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Those are pretty daggone spectacular, especially when you look at the efficiency, 52 from the field, 47% from the 3, 76 from the free throw line. Scotty can defend anybody and can get a bucket. And I'm tired of people talking about Donovan Mitchell like he's in that same breath. That's all I'm saying. So that is kind of surprising. If the Raptors win, Donovan Mitchell cannot be viewed as a star anymore. Can he get a bucket? Shakily. I said I don't like the James Harden pairing as well, too, because Donovan Mitchell still has to be a defender. He needs to be on the team where he does not have to be the defender of the guards. There should be a better player to defend. Hell, honestly, if you actually swap him and LeBron James, that might actually work out if you keep Luka. But even still, he would have to defend. So Donovan Mitchell really has to be on a team where there's a better option on the floor, but he still does not have to be a defensive-minded player. They need to have a defensive-minded guard on their team in order to win. But that's all I got for the Raptors and Cavs, ladies and gentlemen. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that does conclude the end of the episode. So I'm curious, which series has been the biggest surprise to you? Which team has been the biggest surprise to you? Which players have been the biggest surprise to you? And then what do you expect from the teams going forward? Who do you expect to win? I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts. I could have talked about the Knicks and Hawks. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to just say this right now. That might be the most entertaining series to watch. But I'm just being honest with you. So we're going to save that for another discussion for another day. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude the end of the episode. So please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. I hope you're all having a good one. Take care.